You know, I want to say this one thing. I didn't join this particular agency, but I got one time after a fashion show, like I had one of the magazine editors was like, hey, like, can you come over here for a second? Like this like Shacho really wants to talk to you. I was like, okay, sure. And so I walked over and we were just backstage in kind of like a dark area. And it's this like big oji-san, quite, you know.
Chubby.
Not chubby, but his
presence
is like 存在感.
Yeah, his aura.
Presence. Yeah, it's
like a hunter.
So, and then I sat down and he was just like, I would like to have you in my agency. I was like, okay, great. At that time, I was like in between.
Yeah.
And he was like, but I think
first
we'll have to pay for a
job.
Yeah. I was like,
Was that going to be written in part of the contract as well?
You've met this man for 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Was
yeah.
that conditional? Like you don't get to join if you don't get the surgery? Was it like you have to get the boob job to join?
You have to get it in order to join, and he's willing to pay for it. He is willing.
I guess some people might, you know, I'm sure there are people out there who'd be like, that sounds like a fucking amazing deal. But to some people, that's
to me, I was pissed.
I think.
I bet.
Listen, if that's
I don't know who you are. I never even approached.
Yeah,
that's
kind of nasty.
And suddenly he was just like, we need to do something about this part, and I was like,
okay, wording it like that is gross.
Yeah.
But being like, hey, we can give you a free boob job if that's what you want. Like, I guess you might be like, all right, whatever. But if he's like, you have to join, fix this.
Yeah.
That's gross. That's gross.
Yeah.
That's gross.
But apparently that was the part that was quote unquote wrong with me. So
you said it was wrong with you?
Yeah, he was like, oh, もっと売れるんじゃないかなって
Yeah, you can sell more if you got a boob job.
Yeah, and if you like go and
I can sell more if I got a cock enhancement, but I'm not doing it. Like,
I was like, thank you.
Like how many hours of mewing do you do a day?
Oh my god!
You got to get those numbers up.
But the industry is kind of harsh that way.
Yeah, because
you
would when we would because I've known you for like I don't know 4 years now. I don't know, a long time. Especially since I moved here, and you would always just say things like that, like it was like normal. Like you were like, yeah, this one guy said this to me. I was like, what? And you'd be like, yeah, it's a normal thing. Like you guys, this guy hasn't paid me.
Yeah, you've tolerated a lot of shit from the sounds of it.
Okay, let me know if I say too much.
No, this is
no.
You can say whatever you want.
Keep spilling the tea, please.
You're doing the best thing, which is sharing experiences without calling people out, and then that's a safe way of doing it.
Yeah, we want you to empty out the teapot.
But the thing is that I'm not upset. Like
you should be. You should be upset.
I am.
We're upset for you.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Now I have three people and a Maylene. I was like always pissed off. Yeah, I think I just kind of accept and try to understand the situation as it goes. But
you are so much more forgiving than a lot of people.
Yeah. Do you have to have this kind of attitude to be in the industry then? Because it seems like
I'm just dumb.
RinRin, no.
If this is how you say it goes, then I guess either I can work within that or I can't work within that.
You came to a foreign country at a time where I presumably there wasn't a lot of other people with the same experience, right? So of course, if they're like, hey, this is how we do it here. You're like,
you were venturing into the unknown.
Yeah, who am I to judge? You know, obviously we have Maylene, who's a girl boss, tells us what's up, what's wrong, and we have other we have other people. I can talk to you about your experiences, people before. Like we are very lucky that we came, like that we're not the first people who try to do this.
You ran so we could walk, basically.
Oh,
you know.
Oh,
that's it's true though. You know,
but I don't think I did anything. I just kind of accepted everything.
No. Well, you didn't accept the boob job, so.
So at least there was a line somewhere.
Yeah, there was a line. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, if my parents
that'd be really fun.
offer that, then I'm not gonna take it. You know, like I know my parents would know what's like best for me, not you, random person.
Yeah, totally.
I'd like to be there. I think there's another world where you showed up where you had clearly had a boob job and you're like, yeah, I didn't accept it. I just couldn't do it. My morals wouldn't allow me. We're like,
I think I said something along the lines of, Let me ask my mom.
That is actually a great way of being like, I don't want to deal with this right now.
Yeah. That's a good deflection. That is a good deflection.
Like mom defines all. Mom decides all,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
Sure, for sure.
Oh my gosh. Was that like was there ever like an awkward follow up, or was it like, I'm just gonna quietly never speak to this person ever again?
Well, I mean, I didn't have to. And
nice.
when we left, the magazine editor person was just like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, no, it's fine. It was interesting.
How many agencies did you have to go through, or have you worked with before, like the YouTuber agencies? Or?
I've been through a couple, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not super a lot, but I did go through a couple. YouTuber agencies, in my experience, were the most freeing.
Right.
Yeah.
What was like kind of like the best experience, and what was like the worst experience with like different agencies? What should people look out for?
Oh, the best experience I think is just when everyone is like all working together towards the same goal. You know, like I would have.
Is that not the case normally?
Well, I heard the modeling agencies especially, like, there's a lot of instances where, like, the models absolutely, like, despise each other and, like, are trying to, like, tear each other down, right?
I actually never had any experience with people, with models tearing each other down.
Yeah, that's good.
I have more problems with management. I'm a problem child. But then everyone just writes me off as, the 外国人.
Right.
外国人.
Yeah.
So, しょうがない.
I mean, it's not shogunai, but, you know.
But I feel like from what you've told me in the past as well, it sounds like you're saying that they label you as like a problem child, because you're like, hey, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that thing that is really weird and you asked me to do. Like, I feel like what you tell me what made you the problem or whatever is like a very reasonable decline, or you're being like, have respect for yourself.
Why would they view you as a problem child? Because it seems like you have not done anything that would be problematic, you know?
I think even now I struggle with this, but I am very emotion driven. So if I'm not like feeling right of mind, I can't turn on the camera. I can't. I mean, I will go to jobs and stuff and do my best for those, but like I wouldn't be able to just, show up and smile.
Right.
So
like you can't fake through it.
No, I can't. I have very hard time with that. Like if it's like something like this, then yeah, if the camera's on, then I'm like, okay, I gotta focus now, but at least I know when it's gonna cut off.
Yeah.
But like things like being in meetings, like I would go to a meeting and then the oji, it's usually oji-san, he would be like, see, I can't hire American or anything because you're not smiling at me. And I'm like, am I supposed to be smiling at you? We're in a meeting. And he was like, well, yeah, if you're like a Japanese model, you'll understand your work starts when you first step out the door, and you would be completely put together, not a hair out of place, and very smiley. And
this is my least
pleasant.
favorite thing about like Japanese work culture is the whole tatemaya bullshit.
Yeah,
I hate it. It is the worst thing ever. And then when it gets taken into extremes like that, it's like,
it's
bro,
like,
I'm in a meeting. Like, why the fuck would I have to be smiling at you?
Yeah, it's like an expectation now, not something to be appreciative about,
Right.
So,
like, it is crazy. I mean, I it also does extend. I feel like it extends a little bit into like dating and relationships here.
Yeah.
Whenever I have conversations with oji-sans at the bar, because they're drinking and they always ask me stuff. They're like, "What kind of women do you like?" I was like, kind of cute older women. And then she's like, and they always ask. They're always like, "Do you like Japanese women?" They always ask this.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Yeah, they're good." And I was like, "Do you like foreign women?" They're like, "Kawaii." I was like, why? And they use the word what's the word? They use the word obedient for Japanese people. They're like Japanese women are good housewife, good obedient or something. I forgot what the word is in Japanese.
Kokenteki?
Yeah, kokenteki. Yeah, they keep saying that. I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, what? You want someone who just listens to you? They like talk about it like it's like a dog.
So, yeah. That's so weird.
It's like 50s America all over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, okay, a lot of these dudes are, I'm not exclusive for it, but they're like 50 or 60. Like they're like from a time when I guess that's what they were told is normal. But still, it's kind of sad when they're like, yes, they're like, they're too like.
They will do everything to my bidding.
They'd be like, "Gagojin wa majime." something like
Yeah.
too
Majime?
serious.
Yeah.
Too.
I was accused of being majime a lot.
Yeah, they say, I heard
Yeah,
Majime a lot. They
actually,
say
you're
that.
right.
I think they're like too independent as well. Something
Yeah,
like that.
I think that's the
That just comes
biggest
up a
thing
lot.
that a lot of not just like Japanese men, but also Japanese women
Yeah.
see in a lot of like foreigners, and why a lot of them. I mean, this is purely just from my anecdotal experience. knowing
Again, this is
Japanese
all from
people.
me just talking to Japanese
You know,
dudes.
obviously different people for have different tastes, but like I think in general, a lot of my friends at least have like problems or trouble like dating foreigners because they're too independent. You know?
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
they're too
yeah.
like their own person.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and it's like a lot of people, especially a lot of Japanese guys, want that kind of like a partner that has, can be like the obedient one, or kind of like be under my wing at all times. Whereas like a lot of foreigners, I mean, there are foreigners who are like that as well, but I think to the Japanese person, a lot of foreigners are not like that because they're like the strong, independent women, right?
Yes.
Which they exist in
How dare
Japan.
you? How dare you have independent thoughts?
I'm not saying there aren't strong, independent Japanese women out there.
course.
Absolutely
Yeah.
there are, but I don't think that's what Japanese men are looking for. At least a lot of them, from what I see.
So it's like an expectation,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It is an
Yeah.
expectation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can. By the way, if we say something you disagree with, you can just tell us. I was like,
Yeah,
shut the fuck
yeah.
up, you're
No,
No,
wrong.
I'm just like thinking I had those experiences, those exact
Yeah.
experiences that you're talking about.
I-
And you're right.
I had a really
Yeah.
awkward experience the other day at a bar with a Japanese guy because he brought up the same thing, and I was with a friend who was a girl, and there's nothing romantic going on there. And this guy kept being like, "You guys should marry. You guys should marry." And I told him like
But
4
that happens
times.
to you.
It does.
No matter what.
This happens everywhere. And I kept telling him, I was like, no, that's my friend.
Yeah.
We are not. And then
the residual strikes back.
and he just kept saying, no, I think you should marry though. And I was like, please stop. This is so awkward.
God forbid you can have a platonic relationship.
We were talking in Japanese to this guy, and then the only time we spoke English was like, marry. And I was like, this person doesn't understand Japanese. And I'm like, this is really awkward because I'm trying to
Yeah.
tell him, stop saying this.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
making, I can tell that this person's getting uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you should marry though. And I'm like, stop.
Why is this so important though?
I don't know. It's whenever I go anywhere with a friend who's a girl,
Yeah.
I will always be like, kanojo, like or something. They'll be like,
Yeah,
kanojo.
exactly.
And I'm like, yeah, sure,
It's-
whatever.
Yeah.
Which is weird, right? Because like platonic relationships between guys and girls in Japan is not an uncommon thing. Like there's no like, just because you're hanging out with someone of the opposite sex here doesn't necessarily mean they're your partner. Like you can have, guys can have girlfriends and girls can have guy friends in Japan. But for some reason, when it's a foreigner, it's immediately like, you guys are probably together. You guys are probably dating.
No, I get the opposite experience.
Really?
Like a lot of times when I go out with Sydney,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, friends?" and I'm like, Sydney's like, "No, he's my husband." Actually, I'm like,
Is that? Can I ask? Is that because you guys are not the same race?
Look, they look at Sydney, white girl, me, Asian guy, and it's I feel like, especially in Asia, not just Japan, but like in Asia, you normally see like a lot of times it's like white guy or foreign guy, Asian girl, but it's not so common the other way around.
Yeah.
So
That's true, yeah.
So that's I don't know.
That's so funny. I definitely don't get that.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
well, you kind of like can pass off as like both. I feel.
No, in Japan, I did not pass off as Japanese.
That's true.
Not at all.
That beard's doing the heavy lifting.
Yeah, Aki is the one that gets passed off as Japanese all the time, especially when she's standing next to me. They all fucking speak Japanese to her. I mean,
Do people think you're Japanese, or
Yeah.
they do?